Suppose I should unmute my mic. Unpuke my mic. Oh my god, hang on a second. I can hear myself, which means you can probably hear me twice. That should have fixed it. Just had another window open that I wasn't accounting for. Welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing? Oh. So, I was going to be fooling around playing some Surge today, just kind of getting used to because my painting setup wasn't quite there yet, but that all came together in the last day or so. So, let's fool around with it. I have 4 mechs. Here you can see my new camera setup. Pretty decent focus. 4 mechs that I'm going to be working on today. No guarantees I'm going to finish anything, particularly this guy with all these jets. He's going to take a bit of extra work. But I have an Os Scout. I have an Archer. And then I've got 2 of this modified Warhammer. This is the fairly popular Warhammer that's been up on Thingiverse for a little while now, but doing a... Well, there's a convention here in Denver next month. Genghis Khan, I think, is the name. I have never been myself, but I signed up to go this year. And a local player is running an event with the Eridani Light Horse invading... What clan? What clan did the Eridani Light Horse destroy? Smoke Jaguars? I can never remember the clan names. Anyway, attacking their home planet, looking to, blow it up, kill some clanners, so I went with the later model Warhammer 6R, I think this one is, with large pulse lasers instead of PPCs, which wound up being pretty big, but still smaller than the original PPC. Oh, the Os Scout. Yeah, it's posted up in Flava Flax Discord, but this was sculpted by... Oh man, I should remember this. Was this Wolverine or was this Vergaderung? Ugh, I feel like a jerk for not remembering. Vergaderung, thank you. Yeah. Oh, he did a great job on this, considering he made it in Tinkercad, I want to say? I don't know. He talks a lot of crap about his... This is more intricate than anything I've made so far. It's really impressive. I like this sculpt a whole lot. This sculpt is... it's not generally available now, because... I mean, I guess the guys at Catalyst looked at it and went, hey, that's something that we might want to make in the near future. Please don't distribute that. So, but I took it and I modified it a little bit. I just took this smoke effect that he had here, which he just... It was cleverly done. It was just a bunch of circles or spheres that he made, and then the jets were just like some cones coming out of it, but then he went into Mesh Mixer and just added some little details. Now, I added these details. I have no idea how I'm going to paint them. Okay, yes, thank you. It's based off... Oh, that's right, it is. Okay, so yeah, if you recognize this as an Os Scout, it's because their actual artwork is exactly this model and exactly this pose. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, Catalyst. I guess that makes some sense. Anyway, it's a cool sculpt. getting ready to stream a few minutes ago and thinking, I need something to drink. Maybe I should have something with caffeine, so I make myself a coffee. And as the coffee's brewing, I'm like, I need something to drink. Maybe I should have some caffeine, so I crack open a soda. So I'm just going to alternate soda and coffee, and we'll see what happens. Ooh. Like the suspicious Cyclops. I like it. So, a big part of this for me is going to be learning how to paint with my hand in one spot, like, say, right here, without knocking this camera over, which is guaranteed to happen at least one time. Yeah, this should be an process. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with some simple steps. What's everybody up to today? Y'all painting anything? Well, if it isn't old Christopher, yeah, it is. It is old Christopher. More old every day, it seems. Older and older. Getting in on this Twitch thing, which... having time to paint. My problem, honestly, is not that I don't have time. It's that when I have the time, I'm like, maybe I'll paint. Alternatively, maybe I'll watch The Office again. So part of the reason I'm doing this stream is to convince myself to get actual painting done regularly. Multiple sessions. I try to be more organized about it, because I just... oh my god! Oh, it's... the coating on my color shaper is peeling off. It's a tragedy. For like 2 years. Oh well. I'm haphazardly mixing a couple of greens that I would like to use as a quick dry brushed highlight on these Eridani Light Horse right now. So don't mind me. Which... I'm thinking a cold color to mix in there. Glorious! The high mackerel has arrived. What's the problem with your regular Twitch account? I know I got a buddy, Matt Scott, right now, who he is interested in tuning in for the stream, but somebody like stole his Twitch account, and now he has to get it back. That actually happened to me a little while before I started streaming. When I started watching some of my friends' streams, I went to log in and discovered that my password had been changed, and this had happened. It had been going on for like 6 months to a year. So I managed to get my password reset, and I log in, and I've liked all these streams, and I'm following all. I mean, I'm even... was I subscribed? I think my Twitch Prime subscription had been used for someone, which that was probably the motivation for stealing it in the first place. But some dude from Thailand using my account to watch, like, League of Legends and crap. I hope he had... pardon me, I'm getting a paper towel here. It was disappointing. Armpit cam. That's better. What? Oh, okay, that was nothing. Hey, Viking! Thanks for the follow, man. So let me ask, you guys can hear me okay? Can you hear the music that I've got playing? Everything sound good? Yeah, you gotta set up the two-factor authentication. I turned the music down a little bit. Here, let me... as long as you can hear me over it, I'm not gonna complain too much. Yeah, the buffering, I'm not sure. I've got good on my stream and the little read, and then every now and then it says error for like a couple of seconds. I don't know if that's a problem on my end. I'm working out the bugs. All right. So, I'm just going to do a little bit of light dry brushing to get started, because I feel like max bit rate of 6K. I think that's what I'm set up to do. I'll take a look. I'll take a look later. For right now, I'm not going to mess around with it. What was I saying? Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of light dry brushing, because who can screw up a dry brush? You know, that's a good thing to get started with. I've mixed a little bit of a light military green with a cold white. And I need a paint handle. Gotta call a client about a gig. I hope it's a good gig. Good luck with that. Alright. You guys ready for this? Are you ready for this? This is the first stroke of paint that I'm laying down. I say that like it's guaranteed that I'm just gonna stream and stream and stream for all time. That's a lot of commitment. But still, one day if I do, this could be important. You could be like, grandson, I remember I was there the first time Thunderhead painted on stream. All right. Yeah. And if anybody has any questions about anything I'm doing, please feel free to ask. I'll try to kind of narrate my way through it, and I'll try to keep everything on camera. It is the infamous model that got... Well, now infamy implies something negative. I would say that there's nothing really negative about this model. The model itself is just regular old famous. And I can already tell you that painting in this static like this is weird for me. It's probably going to take me a while to get up to speed. I'm usually like... Here, you can see it on the other camera. I'm usually painting like... doing this number. And I'll lean my head real in close, and I'll like get over here, and then I'll brace it on my chin, and I'll put my brush up here, and I'll paint like this. I mean, you know, whatever works. So I'll be glancing up at the screen a lot to make sure that I'm actually showing what's going on. Doodly-doo. A little bit of brushing here. Get a little bit more definition. Now, don't at any point confuse yourself into thinking that you should do anything that I do, or that I am anything but an enthusiastic amateur. Because I am a consummate amateur. I refuse. I refuse to use professional techniques because they scare me. But I also believe there's a great deal that you can do with pre-shading and dry brushing that people don't give it credit for. I'm off screen again. That's going to happen a lot. I apologize. That's a decent base of green. Yeah? Can see all the detail. Yes. Hence the NSFW section. Amateur action. That's all I got. That's all I got is amateur action. This is like those casting couch videos, but potentially less exciting. What? What? DLG hosting me. You absolute madman. Thanks, bro. Everybody, this is Daylight Gamer. A buddy of mine from back in the day. Grew up in the same small town, playing the same stupid games. Magic the Gathering. Lots of Magic the Gathering, holy shit.
Ooh, it's a Daylight Gamer. Ugh, gross.
What's up, Jake? Is it Jake? Is it Chuck? I don't know. I don't listen when DLG talks. I just kind of talk shit. I'm way off the camera. Do you see what I was doing? I just sort of went and dialed back out of the camera for what I was doing. And I'm really just trying to pick up the barest details here. Into meth and malt liquor. I remember that. The meth and malt liquor days. Ooh, I got a little bit of wash on here still. Ew. Oh well, we'll just deal with that. Remember that time you made those meth pickles? Those were amazing. That was meth, right? Alright, so I put this little blue dot here. You see that? The idea is that if I put my pinky on that blue dot, I shouldn't wander too far out of frame. But I have to remember to actually do it. That explains why I don't remember so many of our encounters. God, this is weird. Yeah, okay. So, for a while, if you tune into my stream, I'm going to be learning how to do this. Just how to show you the fact that I'm painting well before I get to any advanced techniques. Now, I think it's worth noting the paint job I'm going for here is quick, easy, basic. They're for one campaign game, and I just don't care that much about Eridani Light Horse as a faction. I'm Free Worlds League all the way. That's pretty good. Math and malt chocolate. Gee whiz. Golly gee. I sure do hope I get my homework done early so I can go get some math and malt chocolate.
Oh, but I'm going to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters.
That's an actual quote, by the way, from Day-Late Gamer. He said that when we were about 15 years old. I told him power converters are for fucking scrubs, but... Still in frame? Oh my god, this is going to be my accomplishment for today, you guys, is not painting something well, but painting something visibly at all. Now, you might notice there's not really that much color going down when I dry brush. I don't want there to be much color going down. I'm really just trying to catch the highest points, which is why I'm using this ELF makeup contouring brush, which, by the way, is the best dry brush I have ever owned in my life. And if you're ever dry brushing and you think, this brush sucks, I need a different one, this is the one you want. What's up, McBee? How you doing, bro? Hey, thanks for the plug last night, dude. I had a fun time watching Need for Speed. Welcome, welcome. I'm just painting up some Battletech miniatures, which I don't know if you play. I don't know if you play Battletech in any of its various forms, including on PC, but you might recognize some of these if you play, like, the Harebrained Schemes game. These are actual models that are used in that game, just 3D printed. In fact, all these ones I'm working on now are 3D printed. I'm hoping this is picking up some good detail at the camera distance. Oh, but I'm loving that it's on the end of a wine bottle cork. Yeah, you know, you drink enough, you wind up painting miniatures. One follows very naturally from the other. Just shove in there, get those little details, come on. This is about as far as I'm gonna go over this and do a couple more spot highlights just to, you know, go a little crazy with it before I do Red Cockpit. I'm not going to be doing much detail on these guys. I'm talking, this is a 3D printed figure? Yes, it is. Most of what I have right now are 3D printed figures. The others that I might do today, if I go long enough or whatever, are some of these other 3D printed figures from people who have made models on Thingiverse. We've got a catapult here that I am doing for a House Lao opposing force. And this is 3D printed. You can see you wind up with some artifacts on the back if you're not careful, which I was not with this. But I was able to actually take pieces of a few different models people had made and cobble them together into this, so you can see you've got the missile pods are oriented at a slightly different angle. One's open, one's closed, so it's kind of flagging to one side. And then I got a locust done by Sylogy. Anyway, I might get to these later. McBee, man, I 3D print fucking everything. 3D printed life. Life! Gives it a sense of motion. What does? Oh, the repose? Yeah. You want to see motion? Did you see this one, Day Late? I like this one a lot. It's a somewhat contentious model, but I managed to get my hands on it before it wasn't available anymore. I have no freaking clue how I'm going to paint this smoke. This seems like it's going to be the most complex thing, and obviously there are techniques, so I guess you guys will get to watch me figure those out at some point. That'll be fun. Yeah, man, 3D printing's, I love it. I'm going to do a teeny bit more dry brushing on this archer. And then I'll move on to some deeper colors. So for those of you who might not be super versed in miniature painting, what I'm doing right now is called dry brushing, and it involves taking a brush with just a little bit of color on it, wiping off most of the paint, and then dragging it over the miniature, leaving behind tiny amounts of paint only on the raised areas, so you can see when I do it, spots become a little bit lighter and the lower spots stay darker. It just helps pick out detail when you're being particularly lazy. Smoke with flame glow working its way out of the back and gray on the undersides of the orbs. Well, now, you know what the thing is with this sort of... Would it be gray on the underside? Would it be gray on the top side? The fire is shooting down, right? But then the fire is surrounded by black smoke, so you wind up with the upper areas being dark, and then the inner areas being a sort of orange to yellow. I can't guarantee it's going to look good, but we'll get to it at some point. You want pink smoke with sugary sparkle. Does it have to be sugary? It's not that I'm not into pink smoke. You know, you say to me, pink smoke, and I think, well, yeah, of course pink smoke. You say sparkles, yeah, some sparkles. I'm into some sparkles. But sugar, I'm not putting sugar on my models, man. That's just crazy. Like, we've got to think this through. That'll be a sticky mess. Alright, I need to mix up a dark greenish blue real quick. Challenge me to replace the smoke with cotton and LEDs in it so it look like actual... That would be easier than what I'm to actually do. Honestly, that would be simpler and faster. It seems counterintuitive, but it absolutely would be. So, I mean, if we keep going, I'll get some more cameras and I'll make them available if people care. But we don't sub it. I'm not frosting my miniatures. I have done many questionable things in my life, but come on. I love the 3D printing that a bunch of Battlefleet Gothic ships open up a shop in San Antonio. Wait, who opened up a shop in San Antonio? Just so you know what I'm doing right now, I am mixing a little bit of black with a little bit of Reaper Master Series Deep Ocean. And as I am doing that, I am actively realizing that I just purchased a pot of P3 Coal Black, which is actually closer to the color I want. So I just wasted that paint. And I'm going to get a little bit of my Coal Black now. I take this paint. I mix it with another. Where is your god now? I have created new colors. Oh god, excuse me. So, for those of you who don't know, there are a few model paint companies that are complete fucking assholes. Specifically, Citadel, and a little bit Privateer Press, because they give you paint in these. This little pot with a pop top. I need to put it in a dropper bottle as soon as I have one free. Paint companies that I like Reaper, put them in dropper bottles like this. Yeah, so much for my big P3 sponsor. The Privateer Press guys are like, oh no, fuck that guy. Fucking thunderhead. I'll give you something to complain about. It's about the only Privateer Press stuff that I use. I don't play their games, for the most part. I know a lot of people do. So, wasted that first amount of paint. What I'm doing now... Yeah, I agree. I won't buy anything not sold in... I say I won't buy anything not sold in droppers, and I literally just showed you a pot of paint that I buy, so I'm just a liar. Don't do that. Don't do that, DLG. You know how close I am to spitting venom over Star Wars all the time. You know exactly how close I am, so for you to poke the bear like that is dangerous. I'm taking that coal black and I'm mixing in a little bit of Aid from Liquitex and a little bit of Citadel Lamian Medium, which is the only Citadel product that I buy regularly because it's pretty much liquid magic. And this is just to take the heavy pigments of coal black and make it into a little bit more of a heavy glaze instead of a paint. If anyone doesn't know what that is, a glaze is a color. I just got distracted by chat. A glaze is a color that you... Oh, and I nearly put that into my coffee. Let's not do that. It is a color that you put over a pre-shaded bottom or another color to just sort of suggest that color and blend a little bit over top of it. And I do that quite a lot just to get some easy pre-shading, leaving the deep spots dark and keeping the high spots a little light. More of a fan of Raylo Ren. That sexual what sexual frustration? There was nothing anywhere in any of those series to indicate for one freaking second that they were romantically interested in one another until spontaneously they're locking lips. Having a little smoochy smooch because the freaking executives at Disney were like, wait, these are the leads, right? So then they kiss because they're the leads, because they're attractive and in the same room with one another. I didn't like playing Warmahordes with you. I got my ass kicked all over the place when I played Warmahordes. I'm not too proud to admit that. Okay, guys, which parts of this are going to be metal? Which parts of this? Let's go with the hip joints, for starters. Oh, this is weird painting at this distance. Way too thick. What have I done? Hang on, I'm washing off my ruined work here. Off to a rousing start. First thing I do is screw up. That is not thin enough. I need to thin that a bit more. Woo! There goes the camera. The stream where I prove that I am amazing at multitasking. I can barely sing task. Who the hell am I kidding? One to 6 are the only ones that exist. She saw him shirtless. That basically means she's pregnant. Did you see him shirtless? I saw him shirtless, and I'm pretty sure I'm pregnant. There, that should be thin enough, at long last. Oh yeah, this is weird. This is not how I usually paint at all. Might end up having closer, but I need a different camera for that, so we'll see how that goes. Now there's not a whole lot of shading under this. It's pretty much just a sloppy dark black blue, but I'm going to go back over this and hand detail some. Oh, and I slipped. Oh. So, I've been abiding by a policy for the last few years of just painting sloppy, because the more I worry about every little detail, the less likely I am to finish a project. But this is sloppy even for me. Let's see, curl it in a bit more, there we go. Now these parts I'm doing are just going to be like an exposed underskeleton metal type look, just to break up the olive drab mass that the miniature is otherwise. The Eridani Light Horse are not an imaginative bunch. They're like, yeah, paint it green. So we have to have some imagination for them on their behalf. You sold all your Warmahordes. That was a lot of Warmahordes, man. Jesus. Are people still playing Guild Ball down there? Yep, see, I keep doing that. I'm sorry. I'll get better at this as time goes on, I promise. Not just pulling way the hell off. So the more I get into painting, the more my model drifts towards my face, and eventually you'll be able to see it on the other camera right before I stick it in my eye. Alright, what am I missing? Down here in the ankle. A little bit, yeah. A little bit of blue. Ooh, I got all this way, and look. There is a slight misprint on this foot. See that? How it's flattened out across the bottom and really thin? So because of the way the resin printer works, I needed to have a support there because there's nothing between the smoke and this, and it prints upside down, like so. Gus and the boys are guild-balling still. Yeah, people say really good things about 3rd edition. There are a few local shops up here where I was surprised. I walked in and there were like 10 people playing Guild Ball. I'm like, oh, people play this game. Hey, thanks for the follow, man. Good to have you. Now, Viking. I believe I know who you are. I believe you would be one generally politically opposed to folk like Gus and I individual who got really, really into Warm Hordes for a good long time. Am I on the right track? I don't just want to blurt your name, because I'm more considerate than that. I'm going to paint this here. Now, you know the funny thing about the Osh Scout, I believe, he doesn't have any weapons. There's no weapons on this mech. This is just, it's not that strong a phrase. You want strong phrases. I could come up with stronger phrases for you. You want a strong phrase for you? Oh, man. You know what? Now you're asking for it, because I've been waiting for this opportunity. I've been waiting for this opportunity since we were sitting at the tabletop, and you started launching off on your libertarian beliefs. So are you ready for it? Because I'm going to tell you off like never before right now. I fucking love you, dude. You're awesome, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. That's not a medium laser, Flava Flack. This is the Osh Scout that doesn't have any weapons at all. That's a tag. I think. Ugh, am I wrong about that? Quick rundown on resin printers. Woo! Woo! Okay. So I don't know how many people here are familiar with how 3D printing works in general, but there are two primary types of printer you're going to see available right now, and those are FDM printers and SLA or DLP printers. FDM printers you've probably seen, like the Ender 3 or something, and it's a print head that's mounted on like a gantry type system with a bed beneath it. And then there's usually a roll of plastic filament over top, which is just 1.75 thick PLA plastic, which is cornstarch that's stretched out into a filament that you can then run through an extruder and heat up like a goo and deposit as the print head moves around. And it does one layer and then it moves up, and it does another layer, then it moves up, and it does another layer. That's your basic FDM printing. If you've seen 3D prints that have print lines on them, that is how those ones are made. Now, models like this don't have... Yeah, Flava Flack, he, not only does he not know anything about printing, he will often come to me begging for advice, even after I've already given him tips. He'll be like, how? Why isn't my printer working? And I'll be like, have you turned it on? 3 days in a row that happened. I'm just kidding. He runs a fucking print farm. He knows more about FDM printing than I do. But, as I was saying, the other type of printing you're going to see is the type that produced this model right here, which is SLA, or resin printing. They use the phrases SLA and DLP. They're two slightly different ways of doing the same thing. And a resin printer is a lot less fun to watch. I'm probably going to get a camera put over on my FDM printer here before long. Probably won't on my resin printer, because all it does... It's a vat of gooey resin that sits. It failed at the 18. Alright, send me some pictures of how badly it failed. Admittedly, the Trinity Tower should have been broken up into smaller pieces, but I'll get to that later. But a resin printer, okay, so the basic difference here, like mine, has... It's basically an upward-facing LED ultraviolet screen, super high intensity. And on top of that goes a... It does not work watching the stream and being in the Discord? Okay. Well, I'm gonna disconnect from the Discord voice chat because I don't have that worked out just yet. Because of the delay, I'll have to tweak it some. Okay, let me finish what I'm saying. For God's sake, people. Distracting me. Okay, so there's the LED screen. Shoots ultra light straight up. Then there... Hang on. Okay, calm. Tits calmed. So it's an LED and the vat has a clear sheet, and you fill that vat with gooey ultraviolet reactive resin. I've finally gotten to this part. And then what that does is it takes the model that you're trying to print, and based on how you orient it, it divides it up into cross sections that are about 0.02 millimeters thick. And then it takes a plate, and it dips that plate vertically down into the resin, and the LED screen on the bottom lights up in the shape of the first layer, and it cures, and it waits there for a second, and then it'll pull up and away, and then come back down, and then it'll flash cure another layer. Do that over and over and over and over again. You can't even tell what it's doing. It's just a plate dipping into a goo vat over and over. And then like 8 hours later, you'll have a miniature hanging upside down like this, covered in toxic goop that you have to rinse off. But you wind up with really good-looking miniatures like this. Isn't it just? I have an Elegoo Mars, that's the brand name, resin printer, and I got it on sale for $250? I think I got it for about $250. Yeah. Hell, the FDM printer that I used, the one that I started with before that, the Ender 3, I got it for $80. Guys, 3D printing is not expensive. It really just isn't. The Pro just launched for $300. Oh, there are more and more printers becoming available, it seems like every day. The resin. So you can get a bottle of about 500 grams of resin for between $20 and $30, depending on this. That bottle will last you for quite some time. In the whole time that I've been printing, I've gone through one 500 milligram bottle of clear red. That's the other cool thing you can do, is you can get resins that print in like clear candy-like colors. I did that with some of the hostile mech contacts for the game, which I don't have any to hand. I'll grab one in a second and show you. Is this how this is going to be? Is me painting like one detail and then babbling for like 20 minutes? Is that on screen? No. Guys, I'm learning. I swear I'm trying to show you what I'm doing. I'm just not very good at it. The showing you part, not the doing. Well, okay. Whether I'm good at doing it or not is up for some debate. Can you print a force heal out of thin air? Only if you buy a bottle of Yodelorian resin. It costs about as much as a year's subscription to Disney+. I will not change my title to just chatting. I'm not just chatting. Look, there's painting going on. It's slow, but I'm painting. Hey, thanks. Someday, that day could be today, you know? You could go out right now. You could sign yourself up as a content creator. You could set up a camera. And you could stream some nerdy shit happening. Oh, I'm off camera again. So this is real dark in here and probably doesn't need any color, but I'm going to give it some anyway. I'm going to shift the camera a bit too, because maybe I'll find a place that my hands like to rest for this sort of work. Paint me like one of your French mechs. What's the Frenchest mech in Battletech, I wonder? I'm not entirely sure what French means in this context, like what sort of thing you would define as French by nature, but maybe any mech from the Free Worlds League. They're a little French, they're a little libertine. Oh god, what have I done? This is an acquired one that I'm going to have to work on. I've seen people, I was watching some painting streams last night, and people are just... they're so automatically good at just being like, duh, and I realize, yeah, they've been doing it for a couple of years, so... I think I wanted that blue. Well, it's blue now. Whatever I wanted. The mechs that stay out of the fights, heyo! I don't know, man. You know, that's a good popular joke these days, but historically the French have kicked some pretty serious ass. You might have to say whichever force has the most, like, has the biggest navy. Turn off autofocus. I'll tell you what, as soon as I figure out how to... see, it shouldn't be autofocusing unless it's doing digital focus, because I cracked this thing open to use the manual focus ring. It should be that when I move back, it goes out of focus, and then when I move forward, it goes out of focus. Right about here. Right about here is perfect, in theory. I got a better camera coming, too. This is a Logitech C310 that I bought in like 2009, 2011? A long time ago. Auto white balance on. It shouldn't be. I went into the Logitech software and I disabled that, but I don't know if it worked because I noticed that it tries to rebalance, but that might be auto brightness. You see that? I'm working on it. Also lost because they cocky as fuck. It's true. But I mean, for every battle the French have lost, they've also won some. Maybe that's just because they've been in a constant state of warfare for like a few thousand years. Well, until recently. What am I doing? I forgot what I was doing. Okay, I painted those vents there. I painted the hips, painted the ankles, painted the knee joints, painted the inner elbows. Right? Elbows, yeah. What do you think? Do you think the hands should be green, or do you think they should be more of that dark blue metallic? I think I might put some of this blue metallic up on the cockpit section here. So I need to kind of lean forward a little bit more, I think. That'll make me more stable. I was drawing a mech dick. Yeah, that's exactly what was happening. Mech dick. Who here has seen Robot Jocks? You say the phrase mech dick, and that is the first thing that I think of. Maybe I should get a magnifier. I'm used to bringing this crap way up close to my face when I'm doing fine work. This is going to be sloppy as hell. Ooh. Who here has seen Robot Jocks? I know I just asked. But type in the chat, chainsaw dick, if you have seen Robot Jocks. I mean, you could type that anyway, but it's just indicating to me that you're familiar with the great chainsaw dick of Robot Jocks. I think my back's broken. Is that a good idea? I don't know. His face is going to be blue now. It should contrast well when I go in and do some red for the cockpit glass. Is that on camera? Yeah, it is kind of. Okay. I'm getting there. Chainsaw Dick, yes, Lindsay. It was the prequel to Pacific Rim. Not in quite a bit. No, it's not Robo Jocks, it's Robot Jocks. It's actually 2 words. It's not even 1 word, believe it or not. Okay, that is cold coffee. That's cold coffee, so we're going to switch off to Cola Time from Kroger. A little bit of caffeine. I think that's all the blue paneling I want to do. Yeah. Keep it simple. So I'm going to go in and start doing some manual highlights on it, which is going to involve mixing one of my favorite colors, which is... Oh, that was almost a disaster. Who's blaspheming Pacific Rim? Oh, I realized I didn't answer the question. Here. Ghost Gray mixed in with that to get my highlight color. So there is a movie called Robot Jocks. It is from the early 80s. And in it, it's a movie done by Stuart Gordon and Charles Band, I believe. I know it was produced by Charles Band. And it is about a near-future scenario in which governments have begun using massive robots, they call them. You know how that goes. Everybody confuses the two. But they use pilots and massive robots to determine, like, land disputes. Instead of going to war, anything countries go to war over, instead, they get together and they put 2 robots against each other in, like, a sporting event. And they punch one another, and whoever punches the best wins, and the country that fielded that robot claims the territory. This really isn't the important part of the movie. Like, at all. Like, even telling you about this, you could watch the whole movie and be forgiven for forgetting any of that. Because the highlight of the movie is later on in the film, when the bad guy robot with 4 legs is standing above the good guy robot. And you're thinking, oh, I'm going to reach him down there. He's so close to the ground, and these robots aren't very flexible. And the bad guy robot spreads his legs, and the plates covering his groin split open, and a massive chainsaw comes out of his crotch. A massive chainsaw comes out of his robot crotch. It's the most amazing thing. It's absolutely incredible. If you haven't seen this film, I highly recommend it. I think the whole thing's on YouTube. The writing and the acting is admittedly terrible. The stop motion effects on the robots are, like, pretty cool. Oh, the chainsaw dick. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I think I learned that one from you. Alright. Let's see if I can do some fine highlights. I have my doubts. Alright, I'm in frame. Let's start here. And I'm just using Steel Dawn. I don't think I've seen that. What's Steel Dawn? So I'm doing some little edge highlights here to bring out this detail. It looks a little stark at first, but it'll look better as I go. And I'll put a couple little... I'm going to try to put a couple little cross hatches here just to add some more texture to what I'm doing. Swayze is sure something. I hear Swayze is real into the toy train market, though. I hear he cheats. Not toy train market, model train competitions. So this is really just a ball, so I'm adding a couple little marks in here to give it some detail. So when you're further removed from it, it's meant to be like a moving knee joint. Alright, let's do this one. No! I am just not as accurate at this distance. That's okay. I'll just paint things on here that I don't care if they end up looking like shit. Right? That makes sense. Which means if you're here, Hethrer, I don't see you. But that's going to be your stuff, buddy. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for... So I've learned that when I can't get good, super fine detail and do random marks, I can just say that I was texturing. Oh, this is terrible. Whatever. You know what looks better? Or rather, you know what any painted model at all looks better than is any unpainted model. That's something. I wonder if I can reach in there. I think I can. Yeah. Off to a work team meeting. Have fun, buddy. Sounds like a fun thing to do. Thanks for stopping in. Hope to see you again soon. I'm going to be doing this again Sunday. Maybe I'll be a little better at it. Who knows? Hold on, I need to look at this closely. I didn't get the shape at all when I was first coloring it. What is this, like an instrumental version of Scandroid? I just put on a... I didn't realize Scandroid was on this synth list. Nice. A new cleaning client? Well, that's awesome. New business is good business. For anyone who might be joining us, allow me to apologize for how sloppy my painting is today. This streaming thing is new to me, and I'm not used to painting in this position, so I'm just kind of... I think the first few streams will be spent teaching myself to paint on camera. Well, they have to pay. If you do nude cleaning and they don't pay, that's not even proper prostitution. Excuse me, sir, but in this country, naked people get paid. Oh, my brush is in bad shape. Oh well. What's everybody up to today? Anybody watching anything good? I mean, other than this, obviously. Oh, that was a bit too much. That was a bit too much. Let's keep it light. I'm going to put one more lighter highlight color on here, too. That should help some. It's not looking too bad so far, though, huh? You can kind of tell what it's supposed to be. Oh, I forgot his ankles. Just a little bit of color in there would be nice. Anybody 3D printing anything? If so, what are you printing? Knocking out some homework with this stream. I won't shut his damn mouth. What the fuck was that? What did I just do? Ugh, let's never do that again. Oh my god. I'll just go ahead and lean my hand into this glob of wet paint here. Sure, why not? See, the real highlight's going to come when I drink my paint water. I showed my true form. Yes, when the outer layers peel away, this is what I sound like. Like Bane from Batman. That's a pretty good Bane impression, right? This is where I would print my 3D vaginas. You have a 2D vagina? Ugh. How does that work? Second thought, don't answer that. I'm off camera again. Let's come back in frame, why don't we? Thanks for anybody who's joining me here today. I can't promise I'm going to provide pro painting or anything like that. If you have any questions about a technique, if you're not sure what it is that I'm doing, I need better lighting over here too, don't I? I need a light right at this angle. Am I getting the Batman stuff? New Batman stuff for the Batman miniatures game done by Night Models? Is that the one? It is possible to print a new personality. I actually did that 2 days ago. I did. In fact, it was a 3D print. You should have seen me before. I was butt ugly. But uglier. I was saying, if anybody has any questions about what I'm doing, or you have a question about a technique, if I know it, I'll do my best to explain and or demonstrate it. I am so sloppy today. I hope you don't judge me for that. Actually, you know what? I hope you do judge me. I hope you look at me and you go, look at this slapshod, lazy painting fool. And then I hope you realize that you've been trying too hard. I'll be okay with one more layer of highlights. I'm moving on. The Batman miniature game stuff, I haven't actually looked at any of the new stuff. I still have a bunch of models from when the Flash Arrow book came out for the Batman miniatures game. And I have, like, they released the Black Flash, I think, with that book, the, like, Zombie Flash. It's sitting in my closet. I haven't painted any of them. I really should. They're good models. Knight makes great sculpts. Cannot argue with that. Well, let's do this little elbow here.
Let's do this half elbow, why don't we? Hoo hoo hoo.
I'm going to set up come on, color. For the love of God, what's wrong with you? Go down. An airbrush camera at some point, because that or do all my airbrushing, I guess, off stream, but I so regularly want to break over there and do some effect. Oh, I've still got the Birds of Prey, yeah. I like how they came out. The Birds of Prey are really nice models. That's the most boobies I've ever painted, was the Birds of Prey. Which, notably, it's like a bunch of American chicks, and whoever did the sculptors made all of their breasts larger than their heads. And then they did one Asian chick, and she's the only one with realistic proportions. I don't know what that says about the guys at Night Models, but it's probably not flattering. I'm not saying I don't like painting boobies. Who doesn't like painting boobies? I'm just saying I'm pretty sure they'd fall over. Gotta quit drifting out of the frame there. I'll get it eventually, you guys. Stick with me. Yeah, I know what you mean. It is too bad I'm not Still down the... I love it up here, man. I love many things about being up here. I do miss the cruise from San Antonio. San Antonio has a phenomenal gaming scene. You can play damn near anything you want and find players for it. Oopsies.
Oopsie daisy.
I missed something. That's okay. A smarter man would be using a wet palette, but I am not that smarter man. Later, MC. Thanks for stopping in, man. Yeah, and hey, if anybody feels like popping over to MCBTV, give that guy a follow. He's got some pretty entertaining streams. I'd give you, but I'm real new to all this myself. He played Need for Speed last night, and I had a great time bullshitting with him about food and brews. I'm doing the whole elbow. Screw it. All three parts. The whole elbow. Because who paints an elbow joint, right? Yeah, man, take it easy. Now playing Chaos by Occam's Laser. This playlist actually isn't half bad, considering it's all, like, royalty-free. Alright, now let's go up here into the arm. Make it look like maybe there's a piston or something. So, miniature painting is a funny sort of thing, and it's worth noting as I work on these guys that these are miniatures for Battletech, which is in 1/285 scale, which is also called 6mm scale. Words are hard. Also called 6mm scale, which means, practically, that the average human being at this scale would be 6mm to their eye level. Oh. For reference, here. There's a little car below this urban mech that I'm also going to be working on. Little people. Little itty bitty peoples. Isn't it just? And yes, if you're interested in this car, or any of these many other cars, which I should also probably paint at some point. Ooh. Lots of little ones. These are all printed on my Elegoo Mars, and these files are from Steel Warrior Studios. They just so happen, excuse me, to fit perfectly with the Trinity City urban terrain set that we have for sale, also on Steel Warrior Studios. Alright, back to painting some elbows. Get in there. How did I paint the inside of the elbow and not the outside? How did you people watch me do that? It's like you're trying to me or something. Sponsored content, yeah. You toss me a check for sponsorship. Just brightening up some of these details. Now I'm planning on doing a couple more colors on. I'm not worried too much about everything looking perfect. I'm just trying to pick out the edges, and most importantly, I'm trying not to spend too much time on this model. Though painting it while I'm streaming has resulted in it taking significantly more time to do any of these tasks. But you know, we suffer for our art. Am I on? Oh, no, okay, there we go. Pardon. Eventually, I'll learn to keep my hands in the frame. Anybody out there painting anything today? Working on some models, some dioramas. What you got? Put it up in chat if you are. Or post a picture on the Discord. Yeah, that's pretty good. Adding memes to my stream deck. That's something I need to do. I want to get some GIFs and some clips from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Pacific Rim. And maybe a couple from Heavy Metal to zhuzh things up in here. So that I can properly declare myself a 5-star man. Paint some canvases, glued broken mirror shards to them. Oh, well that sounds pretty cool. Post a picture up, I'd like to see that. Now the color down in here, really, I did the dark blue, but it doesn't show much, but now you can really see it when I do the highlights. There, now the vents show up. Flip this guy upside down. Get a better angle. I've got all my usual hand configurations that I use, and now I'm having to develop entirely new ones so that I can do both of these at the same time. Yeah, that works. I love Pacific Rim. Oh my god, yeah, you just named off like 3 of my all-time favorite put it on and watch movies. I would add to that list Big Trouble in Little China. Alright, this will be interesting. Sorry, it's a little out of focus. I'm just trying to... I'll get it back in a second. Oof. Oof, she says. Hey, post a picture of that mirror project you just did. I want to see it. What the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? I am highlighting these outer details of something that I'm about to have to paint a lower detail in, so I'm gonna stop doing that. And I'm gonna switch to a red, because that is going to wind up being the color of the cockpit glass. So I'm gonna take a Army Painter Chaotic Red, which I like. And I'm going to thin it down with some Citadel Lamian Medium, which I also like. That is the entire justification for my use. That I like it. That's good enough. Who really needs any more? Ooh, that's still pretty thick. I've seen some painters that use a palette cam when they're painting. If I get these going regular and you guys would like to see what I'm doing on my palette, let me know. It's fascinating stuff. I take one color, I splorp a blorb of it, I mix it with some goop, I goop it around, I slap it on. You know how it goes. Alright, let's see if I can lay down this cockpit glass color without screwing anything up too bad. I'll take a look in a bit, Lindsay. So I'm just laying down a nice dark red to start with, because this is where the cockpit of the mech is, where the pilot resides, and he apparently needs to see out because cameras aren't a thing. in the year 3000. Except when they are, which is all the time. Man, that is one narrow piece of cockpit glass. That is crazy. This is going to be my two go-to moves, is I'm going to spontaneously pull the work out of the camera, and then I'm going to lean in real close so you can't see my face anymore. I'm just going to hide from all the cameras periodically. That'll be fun. I don't know how the hell I'm going to detail those side panels. Oh well. Oh well, whatever. Get back in frame. Alright. That's actually going to look pretty good. Now, this is only 3 colors. And obviously I have to do the smoke, but even just as it is, the green, blue, red I think is pretty solid. I was just looking over at my other monitor, and I can what you mean with every now and then there's a little bit of a buffering issue. We'll work the kinks out. We're all about kinks here. Everybody loves a good kink. Now I need to mix a tiny bit more ghost white in with that highlight color I was using. Just to do some final mechanical portion of everything. I am so wasteful with paint, you guys. I should use a wet palette. Any painters here who use a wet palette? Tell me why I'm wrong for not using one. Educate me. Well, that was wasteful. There we go. Mix a little bit of... What ought I do with my medium? There it is. I'm so organized, you guys. It's almost unreasonable how organized I am. Yeah, that's a real light blue. It's a real light thin blue, which is right where I need it to be. No, not as thin as I want it. Oh well, let's see. Let's see how it looks. Now I'm just going to do this kind of spot highlights on some high surfaces like the top of the knee here. Yeah, that blends in nice. Oh, I gotta work on my posture. A little bit over here, not much. And try to get a couple of little textured details in. Yeah, okay. Totally meant to do that. Everything is on purpose, I assure you. If you are watching me, I never make mistakes. Ever. Oh, that might have been a bit too much. So the nice thing about doing highlights like this is if you push it a bit too far, you can always come back over it with a glaze or a wash and kind of fix it up. There. You can kind of see how that knee has come together. It's not bad, huh? Looks just like I meant to do it. No, that was terrible. I mean, that was amazing. I did it on purpose. Oh, God. This is too thick. I need to thin it down. This is what I get for using partially dried paint on my palette. Alright, going back in, hopefully. A little thinner will be nice. Yeah. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Come on. Wow, my paint isn't... Thin your paints, ladies and gentlemen. Always thin your paints. Don't be a thunderhead. Thin your stupid paints. Oh my god, what have I done? That was not on purpose. Whatever, lean into it. That splop looks terrible, and I'm going to wind up having to repaint this hip joint, I feel like. Oh well. A couple more texture details. I'm going to do that only on the upper surface. I'm probably going to put a glaze over this when I'm done to clean up some of my sloppy-ass mistakes. Yeah. Ugh. I'm just all over the place today, slopping paint. Whatever. I think I picked this model specifically because I don't intend to have a super high quality of paint job by the end of it. Just looking to get it on the table without looking awful. I figured I might as well get used to the streaming thing before I do a miniature that I actually want to look good. Can see that, right? Yes, excellent. There we go. Yeah, I need to set up another light from this upper angle. That's not great. Not super fine, but oh well. This brush is starting to give out. I need to crack open another Winsor & Newton size 0. Oh! No, I did that. Okay. I forgot to do a mid-level highlight on that. Join me as I forget how to paint live. Wolf Cola, everyone. The right cola. For closure. No, just slap it on. Just slop it on. It'll be good. Who gives a poop? That's a little better. I get the hang of it eventually. It's starting to come together. I'm going to have to redo that right hip. I don't like how it looks. You know what? I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to clean it up while I still have some of the darker color available. So a big part of the reason I decided to do this at all has been just to get myself doing a multi-hour paint session a certain number of times a week. Because, man, I'll get on a painting kick and I'll just go nuts for a week. I'll paint freaking every stupid thing. And then I'll just kind of fall out of it, and by the time I get back to it, I've let projects molder and I've forgotten what I was doing or the ones I was working on, so... I figure if I do it more regular, I won't have that problem. Let me get in here to the inner elbow. Just a little bit of detail, not much. Oh, that's on the wrong part of the robot. Oh well. Just a little bit. There. That looks on purpose, probably. That's the elbow from pretty much all sides. Oh, this is some rough work. It's rough work, and there's photographic evidence of me being sloppy. Why do I do these things? A little texture. Just touch it. Just touch it. There we go. And the vents on the shoulders, and then I'm gonna leave the head until I've come back for the cockpit glass. That makes sense. That makes sense when I say it like that. A little bit. What the hell am I listening to? Oh, what have I done? Get distracted by the music and I splort paint all over the place. Good job, me. Well done. Yep. That looks good. I could live with that. That is just about the right distance. Now, if I could just replicate this distance every time I move, I'll be a pro in no time. Alright, that's how it works. Oh, that's kind of... Huh. Not as even as I'd like. You got a better angle on it with that camera. Well, maybe from above it looks fine. Yeah, from above it looks fine. That's the important thing. As long as your models look good from average viewing distance, 3 to 5 feet. Who really cares? Not entering this in any competitions or anything. Alright, what's next? I should do some work on the cockpit. So I'm going to take this game color bloody red, which is a very orange red. I'm going to add a little bit of my base tone red to it just to get a nice midpoint. And I'm going to cut it down quite a bit because I want to lay it on, well, not too thin, because these spots that I'm working with are really quite small. And if it's super thin, then it's just going to fill up the low spots on the model, and I don't want it to do that. That would be terrible. A little more Lamian medium. Lamian medium, I swear to God. It's a magical and wonderful thing. I say this as somebody who will, like, spit venom at you in public if I catch you using Citadel products. I'll be like, how dare you? You scrub. What are you even thinking? And then I'll scuttle away and buy my Lamian medium. Hey! Vergoterang! Vergoterang! What does that mean? It sounds like it means something in German. What you up to today, man? Thanks for stopping in. I'm just about to attempt to start adding highlights to the cockpit glass of this Ost Scout that someone we know sculpted at some point. Huh? Roughly translates to... Okay, alright. Roughly translate seems fair. A lot in German seems to roughly translate at best. It's roughly these 4 words jammed into one that mean this other 5th concept. Oh god, okay. So the combination of me having to paint slightly removed from myself and how very, very small this cockpit is resulting in... Well, as you can see, I'm curling basically my whole hand around this entire thing here, so bear with me while I try to get this brush in here. God damn, that is a tiny cockpit. How's everybody doing today? You working on anything, Verg? You painting anything? You printing anything? Printing something you painted? Painting something you printed? Keep trying to make sure that I'm keeping this in frame for you guys. This is my very first time streaming painting, so if I do anything that just makes you want to throw up in my face, or slap me, or really anything like that, if you see something I'm doing and you go, what the hell is this asshole doing? Let me know. I mean, I'd just be curious to know what it is, even if it doesn't make any sense. Oh, Jesus. I don't know how... I'm supposed to get your brush in here. This is the smallest brush I own. Whatever. Just get some red in there. That's good enough. Who cares if I get red everywhere else, too? Going to be painting the cars and buses. I'm going to be very interested to see how those turn out, because I printed... When you sent them over to me, they were in that original scale, and then I scaled them down to 6mm to these little guys for the Trinity City set to fit in with the rest of the roads. But yeah, the soft details were a problem, so the modifications you did will be greatly appreciated. You can make these look pretty decent, like this one. I say pretty decent, it's like I slapped it together in a couple of minutes, but still. What was I doing? I was painting red. Let's do some more of that. A 5.0. What kind of brushes do you use, Verg? Is that a Winsor & Newton size? Is that a standardized size that I should know and just don't? Am I outing myself as a rube? I use a size 1 and a size 0 from Winsor & Newton. Oh, hold on, I'm out of the frame. That's my biggest problem, guys, is I keep pulling back from the frame. I apologize for that. We'll get it worked out. And then slapping paint over the struts. That's nice. I'll just have to come in and repaint those later. That's okay. That's okay. You gotta apply the Bob Ross approach. We don't have accidents. Happy little mistakes that become new, fresh detail, right? That makes sense. I am gonna add some gold to my red to move it into the glass highlight that I want to have. Ooh, that's a little chunky. That bottle might need replaced. Fun times, chunky paint. The chunks are where all the flavor is. Nom 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 nom. There we go. That is a nice orange red. Hopefully I haven't made it too thin. Let's see. A Skoda Reserva Kalinsky Sable. I'm not familiar with the brand. I've been using Winsor & Newton for the last few years. Sable brushes. But I mean, if they do good quality, Sable brushes are where it's at, man. This is... Alright, I'm going off camera just slightly for just a second because I gotta get my face close to this stupid thing to do it right. I'm gonna try and see if I can't get better at doing details down in front of the camera, or maybe I'll just start doing some models where I don't have to do things like this. This will just take me a second. I just want to make sure that I don't slap this orange everywhere. Well, this won't be the finest cockpit glass I've ever done, but you can already see how it's starting to come together a bit. Probably put some red over top of this when I'm done just to even out the tones. It'll look better when I go back in and I redo the struts, too. Good quality available at your local... So available local is a fairly big deal. I have to order my brushes. But I'm also a scrub who will use a brush that's way past its prime much, much longer than it should be used, so, you know. Alright, now I need just some gold. Ooh, wow, that's almost empty. Oh, that is empty. Squeeze out what's there. Oh, there we go. I'll use that, and... you go in the trash. What's your theory, your paint theory for approaching those cars, Verg? I assume you're going to do like a batch of them? How much detail are you going to do on them? I keep arguing with myself about how much detail is warranted. I'm really trying to get decent at doing fine detail painting while on camera, so forgive me if I hunch way deep in, like, while I'm doing this. Boop. 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 I'm using a real thin paint here, so this should be pretty forgiving. Slacking with the Battletech stuff. Ooh, slacker tech. Shameful. I don't know anything about slacking. I am always working hard, always meeting my deadlines, and always producing the highest quality of absolutely everything, except when I don't, which is most of the time. Oh, that's a little sloppy, isn't it? Yeah, whatever, it'll work. What about mechs? You're painting some cars, but what kind of mechs you got lined up? Are you gonna do any more Ost variants, dude? This Ost Scout is so hot. Oh, that's very kind of you to say. Can't decide if that's too much or just enough. I'm going to do a little bit of yellow in the corner, and then I'm going to put a little reflective white dot, and we're going to see how we like the cockpit glass. I'd love to do like some interactive painting sessions on here at some point where I paint stuff and you guys tell me what the hell to do. That could be fun. Damn it. It's all over the damn place. Just put that on one of the cockpit struts. Dry brushing and skipping all kinds of steps. Man, that's where I live. Brushing and skipping steps. These are the marks of the true pro painter. The painter who just doesn't give a... My best work has always happened when I have stopped caring so much about the details. That might be too bright. Oh well, I'm gonna roll with it. I don't care if it's too bright. That's pretty good. I'm slowly getting the distance that I need to keep the model in frame while I work. But that's the entire point of today, was to do this for the first time and learn what works and what doesn't. Oh man, I should have thinned that more. That's insane. Oh well, whatever. Looks good enough. I'm really just not going to beat myself up over these. So the nice thing about 3D printing figures too is I can make another one. I had a problem back in the day when I was doing nothing but buying, Games Workshop, Warlord models, what have you, where I'd get stuck on steps because I foolishly just, I spent a lot of money on this figure. I want to paint it well, and I've got all these ideas, and I'm not confident I can pull them off, and you get analysis paralysis, Well, I can do this, I can do that, but what should I do? And what you end up doing is nothing. But ever since I've been able to produce my own models, I haven't had to grow as a person and get over that, which is perfect for me because I hate self-growth. What are you dry brushing? Or is it the cars? Hello, everybody, if you're just joining me. We are learning how to paint on a stream. It's been an interesting process so far. I've only screwed it up a few times. Right now I am wrestling with a bottle of white paint. But as soon as that's done, maybe I'll have something entertaining for you. Get out of there, chunky paint. Jesus, this bottle is too old. Maybe you guys will get really lucky, and you'll get to be here for one of the moments when I squeeze a bottle too hard or smash across my desk and I just explode ink all over myself. Because that's pretty regular, honestly. Oh, there. Just went ahead and put my hand in that. That's a good time. Good God. Change my paper towel around here. Ugh. Some people wear gloves when they paint, but I like hard mode. Not that painting without gloves makes it harder, it just means I have to wash my hands afterward. I think I know who's winning. All the terrain, cargo crates, vehicles, mechs, yeah. Man, dry brushing it's an effective technique. I was doing a little bit of that when I got started on this stream. Showing people my ELF brush that I like to use. Oh my god. There was a big chunk of dry paint on the end of my brush. That was embarrassing. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then one on each of these. Yeah, it's quick. Damn right it's quick. If you haven't used one of these, by the way, Verg, this here... Ah! ELF contour brush. It is a makeup brush with a head like this that I use for dry brushing that is amazing. Hands down the best dry brush I've ever owned in my life. Yeah, that'll do. One more over here. Well... Yep, I got too ambitious. How's that for cockpit glass? I need to finish the struts up because it's a bit sloppy in here. Come on, come into focus properly. Maybe a tiny, tiny bit more of a reflective mark here. Oh my god, my paint is drying before I get it to my model. Yeah. It's tricky to size things like this so that they both look good and are paintable. Oh, that's awful. Jesus, what have I done? Alright. I'm just gonna correct this by making it worse. Screw it, it's good enough. I'm gonna clean up the struts with some of my coal black. Welcome again to anybody who's sticking with me today. Thanks for stopping in to watch me learn how to paint on a stream, live. It's a good time. Oh god, I'm just so happy today. I'm gonna bring it up close to my face for just a second here, don't mind me. Just happen to be painting some very, very fine details. in some relatively tricky colors. There. That looks a little bit better with the struts darkened. Where's my focus? Where's my focus? It's right in here someplace. Shiny. Thank you. You mean you feel bad now that you have so much Battletech stuff? Excuse me, my nose is itching a little bit right now. Oh, I know how attractive that must be. Let's try some highlights on the cockpit struts. Man, why? My paint is... Now, part of the problem is that I don't use a wet palette, and I live in Colorado. So, the air is dry, and if I don't keep my paint moist, it just, well, it dries. I haven't used washes or anything on the terrain. Man, washes are easy mode, though. Washes are the lazy man's trick. Oh, God, seriously, excuse my sniffles, I apologize. Lazy is good. I'm going to keep saying it. Paint lazy. Paint even lazier. There's no wrong answer. Oh, my sniffles. My sniffle nose. Oh, God. So my thanks to everybody who's come out on this very fine Thursday. I hope y'all can join me again on Sunday. Probably fewer people at work and such then. Probably. I cannot seem to detail these struts very well. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Maybe the fact that I'm using paint techniques and methods that I've literally never used before in my life for the very first time while being observed. That couldn't have anything to do with it. That's crazy. I'm going to come in and detail the rest of this cockpit later, off-stream, because it's clear to me that super fine detail work while streaming is a little tricky at the moment, until I learn and get a little bit better. Alright, so what's next? I think I'm going to start in on some of this green, because it could use a little bit of highlighting. Oh, my palette's just turning into a mess over here. Shameful. I actually like this camera better, this one that looks straight down, because you can't see how messy the rest of my desk is, and I will never show you. You'll never see it. Oh, suspicious Cyclops. Thin you down, and I'm just mixing some olive green with a cold white, because these guys are olive drab and their highlights should be flat, pretty desaturated. I think a little more. Yeah, that's good. I just realized that the headphones I'm wearing, the cable that I have extending to my PC, is wrapped around the doorknob to my room. I really hope nobody pulls the door open suddenly. because that will... Oh my god.
It opens in one. I'm gonna go get the dog. I didn't realize we were recording.
Hold on just a second, guys. I have returned. What am I highlighting with? Which part, the green or the red? If you're asking about the red, I was highlighting with yellow. Yeah, I might go back in there and just put down a little bit of red shade to even the tones out too. I'm usually pretty cockpit glass. This is some of the sloppiest that I've done recently, but I blame you. Oh, with the green, I'm using what is this? Army Painter Army Green mixed with some of this Game Color Ghost Gray. I would mix it with a yellow or something if I was going for a more vivid green, and I probably will for like some Lao mechs that I'm doing, but for Eridani Light Horse, I go with something desaturated. I'm not going to complicate this too much. I'm just going to put spot highlights with this just to give the green a bit more interest. Oh, thank you. Oh my god, you guys. I am sorry about my sniffles. I don't know what's going on today. So Verg, you're printing some little cars and doing some dry brushing. Anybody else doing any painting today? If you're not painting, what are you doing? You watching movies? You playing games? What are you watching? What are you playing? Talk to me. I just finished The Leftovers on HBO a little while ago, and I've got this Damon Lindelof shaped hole in my heart right now. I gotta tell you. I used to give Damon a lot of shit because of the way that Lost played out, but I think that was mostly J.J. Abrams' fault at this point, now that I've had to hear what those two men do on their own. Observe, yeah, because that's what I've been doing. Basically a Hollywood talent agent for guys at the level of JJ and Lindelof. They care deeply what I think about them. Printing up a bunch of those unknown mech indicators. Yeah, those are pretty cool. Yeah, I like those. I haven't actually played a game where I use them yet, but man, do I intend to at some point. Oh, I shouldn't switch legs. I have a general flow when I'm doing highlighting. A bunch of people near me wanted some. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you've got local players. We've got a good number of local Battletech players here, too. I just don't network anywhere near as much as I should. I see them like once every few months when I show up to a special event or something. What was I saying? Yeah, I've got a general flow when I highlight. I'll usually start at the bottom of one foot and do the leg, other leg, pelvis, torso, arm, head, and then at some point I remember that the model has a back. But it's usually after I've finished everything else. Yeah, man. people together to actually play games is the hardest part of this hobby. Maybe tied with taking pictures of models. These are the true skills. Oh, I might have been a bit sloppy. Oh well. I think I'll live. Gotta remind myself that I really just am not doing anything too complex. Okay, just taking pictures of models is easy. Taking good pictures of models I have found to be particularly challenging. Taking models or pictures that accurately reflect the colors they're in. You need way more light than you think, and you need to learn a few things about light colors. Light colors? Light temperature. I had never heard of light temperature before people started schooling me on why my models look like shit. My brush was a little bit more wet than I intended there. Hunching. My hunch paint technique. Ooh, you like that strobe effect? That's nice. It's just trying to, like, white balance. Wow, it really struggles with that paper towel. Look at that. That's brightness. I'm gonna have to fix that. So that you have a more consistent brightness. Well, my camera work needs work. We'll get there. We'll get there. Keep tuning in. We'll get there. We'll get there together, ladies and gents. Three 200-watt LED floodlights with diffusers. Well, yeah, that's a pretty good amount of light, and diffusers certainly help a whole hell of a lot. Just gives you more control. So I've learned one thing today, and that is that at least at my current level of proficiency, I paint slow on stream. This is usually quicker, but you know. Like I said, I'm mostly just figuring out how to remember to keep my hands in the same spot. Which is trickier than I think I gave it credit for. You know, it's a subtle difference between the legs at this point, but that little extra highlight I think really sells it. I'm going to do that over the rest of it, and then battle damage for the green, and I think that's just going to be the green. I'm going to get a better camera here pretty soon so that my colors don't wind up fluctuating. But that's pretty close. That's pretty close to the colors I'm seeing in person. What movies are playing right now? I was just thinking about that. I realized I don't really know. I just saw The Joker recently. I didn't see that in theaters, even though I heard good things about it. I just, you know, DC movies. I've learned my lesson about seeing them in theaters. Because they're mostly bad. Oh! Wish I hadn't flattened that foot out. Did you see that, Berg? one little printing error. And this is something that you may want to consider next time you're modeling or sculpting something like this, where there's the gap. Just fill that in. There's no reason not to have a chunk of plastic there. Nobody's ever going to look down there, you know? It'll just make it print easier. And see, like, you can put in supports, or you can just put it in as part of the model, knowing that no one's ever going to remove it because no one ever is going to look there. You know, if you make more mechs, which I hope you do. I really do, because this is a great figure that you've done. I enjoy painting this. I think this is a better sculpt than some of the ones Catalyst has actually done for their recent run of models. They're pretty good at translating that art into figures, but they couldn't do a better job than you've done on this, honestly. A Night Sky and a Berserker. A Night Sky and a Berserker. You had to go and pick two mechs I'm just not familiar with. Are those Clan or Inner Sphere? How's everybody doing today? We're just working on painting an Ost Scout. This sculpt was actually done by Vergotterung here. Ah, yes. Well, there are two Inner Sphere mechs I don't know very well. Ah, the Night Sky! I feel like I can see it in profile. It has a real unique profile, but I don't remember what armaments it has. Yeah, that might have been a bit aggressive. Get that out. Am I on camera? Yes, excellent. Both Clan... Oh, well, that explains why I don't know them. If it happened after 3050, I probably erased it from my mind. Oh, this is a feel-good tune. This is the tune that plays, like, right before the credits roll, when the plucky underdog sports team comes out on top. Oh, all that. And a hatchet. Of course. That's why they named it Berserker. My love for you is like a trucker. Am I the only person who thinks of that every single time I hear that word? Still on camera, right? Yeah? Excellent. More contrasting colors for the next one that I paint on the stream, because as easy as this olive drab is, it doesn't show up all that well on my camera. But I'm planning on getting a better camera too, so thanks for sticking with my drab olive drab. It's a bit aggressive. Hey, no worries, Verg. Thanks for stopping in, man. Good to see you. And thank you for the model, man. This thing is excellent. For anybody who is wondering, it's kind of pointless to plug because you can't distribute it on account of the suits at Catalyst Game Labs complaining about it. But Vergaderung did this fantastic sculpt of an Ost Scout jumping up into the air that I'm getting painted up in some Eridani Light Horse colors that I am slowly highlighting. I say slowly because for those of you who are not aware, and you really should be aware, honestly, what excuse do you have to not be aware? This is my first painting stream, and I haven't really gotten used to having to hold my hands down here yet, but you know, you keep tuning in and you'll see me get better each week. Until one day, you could describe me as competent. Won't that be a fun day? I don't think I've ever been mistaken for competent before. Honestly, I'm not even doing this highlighting right. I realize as I do this, I'm just painting it like it's a mech standing there. If I wanted to be real clever, I would pay attention to the fact that there's a bunch of flames shooting down here and do like some glow effects on his legs, but that's just not going to happen. Let's just keep things simple, you know? Let's not do anything too wild. How's everybody doing today? Anybody watching anything fun they want to talk about? Anybody painting anything? Anybody running a 3D printer? Let me know what you got going on hobby-wise. Pretty good. Heyo! That's no problem. Take care of the spawn first and foremost, you know? Oh, excuse me, I don't know why it's been this way today. I swear my nose has never itched before in my life. I apologize for the flashing screen. I'm gonna get that. Is it because... I think it's because of the paper towel. I want to keep the paper towel out because it wants to keep... Oh, that's much better, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, okay. We live and learn. And then get loves. I swear, I'm just going to keep bumping this camera until my whole setup is unrecognizable. Hang on a second. Tuck my paper towel underneath. Ah, there we go. Excuse my sniffles. Yeah, you liking it? I'm trying to just keep it as simple. Definitely not keeping it as simple as possible because I'm struggling to, you know, remember the basic tenets of painting in a stream. Definitely not that. Like, show people what you're doing. I'm not used to an audience. I'm not used to other people even having to know what I'm doing. Not that you have to know, but, you know, you're tuning in, so I guess it's probably polite for me to tell you. Wow, that's just sloppy as hell. I'm gonna have to clean that up, aren't I? Yeah. Whatever. Whatever. I can fix that. Just take a sponge and go, boom, there's battle damage there. You said you were thinking about learning to paint miniatures, Lindsay. What kind of minis? Oh, that's just way too oh well. Oh well. Tyranids! Rah! Space bugs. A full scale or like kill team play, or just the models themselves for fun? Yeah, my brush tip is getting all frayed. I want to buy your own D&D/Pathfinder minis. You know, more and more people are getting those minis made custom. Buying like, because I think WizKids has a pretty big line of like pre-primed ones. Hang on a second, guys. I'm gonna blow my nose. You don't need to. You don't want to see this. Okay, that's better. That's better. As I look at myself on the camera to make sure I don't have like a boogie hanging out or something. I'm a pretty charming guy, you know. I like to talk about boogers, snot, the generation thereof within the nasal cavity, the expression of boogers and snot in various ways. People, and ultimately, everyone gets boogers. So. It's important to recognize this fact. Yeah, you need some custom minis. What is it, like Hero Forge? I think is a company that you can go on and like select, I want a sword, I want an axe, I want this, that, and the other thing. And kind of build your own mini from scratch. You can put them in different poses, which is pretty cool. Oh, man. Just way out of frame. Excuse me. I'll get faster at this as I practice, I'm sure. This is just, like, every time I remember what I'm doing paint-wise, I realize I'm doing something funny stream-wise. Ugh. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Just put some green in there. That's good enough. There's, like, no detail on the side of this thing. What have I done? I'm gonna have to fix his chest later. Oh, well. Did Verg leave? Can I talk shit about his work yet? Oh, damn it, there he is. I mean, I'm sure glad Verg is here so I can praise his work unconditionally. Oh, why are you so overloaded? There we go. Yeah, that's better. And a little bit here on this pectoral seam. So there's a trick I like to use if you notice some of the sloppier bits on here. Where if I really slop something up, I just leave it and I make that into battle damage when I'm done. Oh, not here yet. Yeah, there just isn't a lot of detail on the side. So discovering when you're modeling for this sort of thing, discovering your minimum tolerances is tricky. Something that I've found that's helpful is make yourself a 3D item with gauge. make as a series of slips or a series of crevices in a piece of plastic that are set to particular widths and depths, and print it out just with 0.1 millimeters, 0.2 millimeters, 0.3 millimeters, so on and so forth, and you'll find the minimum detail size that really looks good. I've found that 0.3 millimeters in width and depth is about the smallest I can reasonably. All the details on these weapons here wound up being between 0.3 and 0.4 millimeters, both in width and depth, to show up. On these guns. But I found that that's just about right. Any smaller than that, and you can lose it pretty easily. You can lose it just from your miniature hanging on the damn rack for too long and, resin UV curing in the crevices before you clean it because they're so damn fine. It's crazy. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, bro. Oh, God, what was I doing? Okay. Oh my god. Hang on, I'm just trying to clean up that splorp that I just put down like a genius. Eventually I'll find the hand position that works really well for this. But at the moment you're watching me mostly fight as opposed to do any particularly good painting. And with that in mind, thank you for watching. I will try to make sure that my stream announcements are as accurate as possible in the future as to whether or not I'm going to be gaming or painting, but today I was not expecting my painting rig to be set up so quickly, so I went to it and see how it worked. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. They're soft details, but they're details. I see small people. Oh, hang on 1 second. I will be right back. And I have returned. Gonna be tied up for a bit. Hey, go take care of your business, man. I'm here. I'm here, hotness monster. Monster of hotness. The ones so hot that we fear them. What's up? Well, I hope you get your business done and come back. I'll probably be going for... How long have I been streaming? Christ, 2.5 hours? Is that right? What time is it? Yeah, it's 3:20. Okay. Well, I should be going for at least another half hour, hour and a half. So, stop back in if you get done early, bro. A long time. Ages and ages. I'm amazed that this many people have even tuned in to watch me paint. It's incredible. Considering how little I hope that I'm living up to your expectations. If I'm not, let me know. Tell me how disappointed in me you are. I'd like to know. I'm curious. I had high hopes for you, Thunderhead. I saw your Facebook page and I thought, this guy, he seems to have his shit together, but you just don't. See, look at that. I was painting off camera again. You know what we need, really, is like a joy buzzer. We need an electrode attached to my ear So when I pull off screen, you guys can, I don't know, pay like, make a donation and zap me. You're like, get back in screen, and I'll be like, ah! The more I think about this, the more I wish I hadn't said anything. Forget this. Let's just slot some in here. Yeah, sure, why not? I think at least one more layer is going to be called for anyway, so I shouldn't worry so much. I don't know what sound I'll make because I'm not actually being shot. You can't expect me to know that. Alright, I'm going to take a break from this Scout for just a second. Because I'd like to do a little bit of work on this. Here I have a base for a miniature, which I have painted. This is... what's his name? The Beast of Bodmin. It is so tiny. But this one turned out pretty good, I think. Now, the basic model for the Wolverine doesn't have these Forrest Gump-style leg braces attached. I put these on because this is a model from the House Arano sourcebook that Catalyst Game Labs released a little while back that is supposed to have custom mods. So I added these in and painted them. I'm pretty pleased with how he came out, but I need to put him on a base. And I didn't want him... When he's flat on his feet, he leans way, way over to his left. So I mashed some green stuff down into this base and created a little platform for him to stand on that actually evens him out a little bit more. So, if I want him to match the other figures that I've done for his company, for Rampart Company, see, I've done all of them like little battlefields. Some concertina wire and some little craters and such. So I'm going to make some little craters, what do you say? Because I'm frustrating myself on that Scout. For those of you not familiar, this is called green stuff. It is a 2-part epoxy putty. So all you do is you take the blue and the yellow and you mix them together, and what color do you get? Green. Green stuff. It is a really, really slow curing epoxy that, as far as I know, is safe to work with your hands. Is it safe to work with my hands? I don't know, you tell me. Am I poisoning myself? I don't think I am. I just knead this together. Blello. Yeah, that. I think that is the official international name for that color, is Blello. I can't say for sure. I am just kneading this green stuff together, don't mind me. How you doing today, Hotness Monster? Now playing Cyber Overmind. This is not a bad playlist. I was thinking it might be kind of crappy, but I've actually enjoyed it. Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Fantastic is how you should always be doing. Alright, so I got this little base here. And I got the 2 spots where his feet are going to go, which is there and there. So I'm going to put a couple of craters. I think I'll do I've done multiple craters on every single base. Maybe I'll just do one crater, just to mix things up. So I picked the spot where I want the crater, and I'm just kind of splorping some green stuff in there. And then I'm dipping the end of this brush in some water just so it doesn't stick to the brush and it spends more time sticking to the base. And I'm going to make a happy little crater. Trying to blend it down base as much as is feasible. Doesn't have to be super blended. After all, craters throw up a lot of dirt. Well, craters don't. Explosions do. That looks crater-like. Make it a little wider, a little flatter. There's going to be some taste on top of this, so it's going to gain a little bit of... Every crater needs a friend. Well, you know. Maybe this crater is just from like a autocannon shot or a singular bomb. This one got a bunch of friends. I was a fan of this one. But this crater has a friend. His friend is a big old Wolverine mech. Make sure I'm working in here. Crater adjacent, at least. Yeah. In the same region. Now, I'm going to take an X-Acto blade and some... And I'm gonna slash my finger... No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do that. Well, I'm not gonna do that on purpose. And I'm just gonna kind of drag it through the green stuff in the center to create an exploded texture. Things like this, I've tried to find a way to incorporate 3D printing, and if I'm being honest, this is faster. There's some things that, like, don't get me wrong, I'll 3D print any damn thing. You give me an excuse, I'll 3D print it, but I need to sculpt. I need to sculpt some more bases, some more organic shapes, something that you could just print and dry brush, because this is as kludgy as I get anymore. Got anything fun today, Hotness Monster? You're doing fantastic. You working on any figures or models or toys or games or BDSM gear or I don't know. You tell me. Oh, out of camera again. Sorry about that. I'll get there eventually, you guys. Excuse my sniffles. It's particularly dry here today. Though they're saying it might snow, which should be interesting. We've had a pretty mild winter so far. That's pretty good. That's a decent crater. Yeah. Once that sets, I'll be able to put some texture down. And the Beast of Bodmin will join his compatriots. Man, the Beast of Bodmin came out good. These colors, I wish I could say I did it on purpose, but literally as I started spraying this green, I thought it was a different color. And then I saw it, and I was like, well, I guess it's going to be a green mech. And I leaned into it, and I'm really pretty pleased with how it looks. Mostly build Jeeps and guns. Real Jeeps and real guns, or miniature Jeeps and miniature guns? Both are cool. I don't know if they're equally cool, but they're both cool. Oh my god. Excuse me. Oh, popping my back a bit there. Gotta work on my posture. I gotta work on my posture, my positioning, my cameras. I gotta work on everything. I gotta work on everything. But that's okay. You know, this is how we improve. This is how we get better. Let me go back to this Ost Scout and finish up detailing his green. I'll tell you what, people. If there's something you want to see painted, if there's a model in particular you want to see painted, if there's a style you want to see painted, if there is a technique, dry brushing, washing, wet blending, don't say wet blending. I don't know how to wet blend. I've seen it a million times. I understand the theory. I'm not very good at it. So maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need for you to say, hey, Thunderhead, fucking learn wet blending, you scrub. And then I could come on here and stumble my way through it. But anything you want to see, let me know. Let me know, and I'll see what I can't do to bring it to you. Simple techniques would be good. If you want to learn how to dry brush or how to wash, how to glaze, how to do simple value sketching, stuff like that, you know, let me know. That's most of what I do. Keep it. I always say when I'm not saying other things. And you know, if you haven't been, throw me a follow, and I'll keep you posted on what kind of streams are coming up next. On camera, yes, excellent. We're getting there. That might have been a bit aggressive. Oh well.
Oh well.
Warhawk. Shadowhawk. Shadowhawk, objectively the coolest mech ever made. I like to think I'm a Battletech nerd, and then every time I make a claim to that effect, somebody's like, well, but what about these two mechs? And I'm like, I've literally never heard of those. I think they call that getting put in your place. It happens to me, unfortunately, often. Let's go do the other arm, I guess. That's pretty good on here. Just off camera again. He can bang with the best of them, and you know he likes to party. I'll take a look at him later once I'm done streaming. I always like reading a lore article or what have you. I may, if I'm going to keep doing this, I may genuinely end up switching to a wet palette just because the amount that I slow down when I'm streaming is genuinely causing me problems with paint dry, which is crazy to me. I have never played this playlist before, but I actually kind of like it. Never listened to Occam's Laser. Maybe I'll look him up. Get off my hand. Are you in the Discord, Hotness? If you are, why don't you post up a picture of the Warhawk? I'll take a look at it. Getting there, getting there. I still don't know how I'm going to do the smoke trails on this guy. I'm just, like, biding my time. And when I get to that point, I'll give up entirely. Trying not to dash camera here, just a little bit of detail here.
Oh, he's got a smiley face. Whoa.
A happy little lost scout. Fixed highlights on here. I didn't do any lower highlights, so they look funny. Look better with a little bit of texture on them. That's still not great, but I'll put a green wash over it later and call it a day. Oh, lordy lord. Should get a better chair. Maybe I'll go to Costco and get a better chair if I'm gonna be sitting in it for spurts of 4 hours at a time. My paint consistency right today. It is either too thick or too thin, and nothing in between. Which would be, you know, just right. So to anyone who joined this stream today thinking, oh, this guy seems like a good painter, maybe he'll have some tips for me. I apologize. It's... No. There, that's better. That's off camera again. I've got a camera with a wider viewing angle on its way, and I think that's going to help this problem a lot. I'll be able to get positioned more here, kind of just above it. Something without this auto brightness adjustment. We'll fix that. We'll fix that. We'll fix it good. Kind of taking care of some of the imperfections in my actual print here. It is sometimes the downfall of 3D printed miniatures is the quality. Depends on how much time and effort you yourself put in. So if you are particularly lazy, your models may wind up with problems. Which mine generally do. Paint with the thick, that thick paint, baby. All about that thick paint. Just a little something to make that cockpit stand out more. What'd you say? You said Jeeps and guns. I asked you what you meant by that. Did I miss your answer? I apologize if I did. You paint miniatures, or are you just like a firearm and Jeep enthusiast? Do I know who you are personally and I'm just not realizing it? That seems possible. Damn it, I was off screen again. I'm sorry about that. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right, all right. That's looking pretty good. Around the cockpit, at least as good as I'm going to get it right now. That's pretty good. You can actually see the vents there. Well, that's cool, man. Got any projects going on now? Hey, Cab Boss. What's up, man? Thank you. Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, this is Cab Boss, the man, the mystery, the hard place, the creator of a game called Cavs Strike Ops, which always struck me as a game created by people who, two parents. That's good. If we shared one parent, man, I would be concerned deeply. What was I saying? Yeah, Cavs Strike Ops, a game that it seems to me the first time I opened the rulebook was made by people who were obviously huge fans of Battletech, but just weren't quite satisfied with the crunching grind that is Battletech and a few of the design aesthetics. So, and also Battletech wasn't updated for like 10 years. But yeah, Cab Boss here made a game called Cavs Strike Ops it's fantastic. It really is a great mech-based game. It's one of the most affordable mech-based games I have ever played, with some really great sculpts. Hang on, I think I've got some of this stuff around here. I need to do more painting of Cavs Strike Ops stuff, but I have here primed one of the figures from the Kickstarter that they just did. He's got some schmutz on him. And I need to get around to putting some paint down on this guy. And in fact, this may be what I do this weekend, just so that I make myself actually do it. They're very detailed models. They're fairly simple to paint, even if all you want to do is dry brush. All those panel lines are really, really dry brush friendly. They're cool. They're a different look than Battletech. They're less humanoid. They're more practical. They tend to have these squat little legs. Like if you were ever a fan of the Dreadnoughts from 40K, they have kind of a similar look going on. It's more of a combined operations game, and it's at a different scale. Like Battletech's at 6mm, Cavs Strike Ops is at 10mm. So this should be smaller than this, and human beings would be. You know, I'm gonna stop confusing myself. It's at a different scale. But yeah, if you haven't checked out Cavs Strike Ops and you like painting miniatures and you like mech games, please do check them out on Facebook. Check them out on their distributed through Reaper, I believe, or Talon. Or Talon is a part of. I don't fully understand the distribution method. I know that you can get their games on or their models from Talon, and sometimes from Reaper. It's a great game, though. It's simpler than Battletech. It's more complex than Alpha Strike. It's kind of the Goldilocks zone of mech games for me. Talon Games, right there. Cab Boss, ladies and gentlemen. Give that a click and check the game out. I highly encourage you to. I'll break out some of the models next few streams, and I'll paint a couple for you so you can see some of the details on them. I really like them a lot. I've painted some of them. I did a parent course, and since then I've been in a perpetual state of I should get back around to that, which is, you know, that's just kind of where I live. Procrastination. Being so sloppy today. Like that. Just put a big splorp on there. Whatever. Whatever. Splorp it on. Why not? That is the technical term, by the way, is splorp. There are 2 P's. What am I missing? Got that, got that. I don't really want to go any crazier on top of his head. Now I remember that the model has a back to it. Hey, thanks for stopping in, Cab Boss. I really appreciate it. And, yeah, pop in next stream and I'll see if I can't get some of your figures being painted. To win as well as it did, man. I'm very pleased with the quality of all the figures, and the new Bones Black material that the figures are done in is just, it's top notch. By the way, if you are familiar with the Reaper Bones PVC material, they've been doing more recent runs of models in this new Bones Black material. That's what all the new cab models are done in, and it is fantastic. It's still PVC, but it is much, much stiffer than the old stuff. It holds detail really well. Cab Boss, if you're still there, are the new cab minis that you order from Talon being done in Bones Black, or is it just the Kickstarter stuff? Oh, might have just about exhausted the amount of green that I can do here. Hang on, let me hold this guy at a distance. Just the KS3 stuff and any new models going forward. So the older models, the old sculpts, are still going to be produced in the old stuff. That's fine, though. It seems like you're doing kind of a major overhaul at this point. A lot of the stuff in the Kickstarter resold ones that you guys had in metal that I never got my hands on any of. This is coming together decently. Pardon my sniffles. Yeah. I'm going to take a break from him for a bit. Who's up? How about this guy? Yeah? I need to swap palettes a little bit here. Maybe do the same. Refresh it a bit. I do need to get a wet palette. And by I need to get a wet palette, I mean I need to learn how to use a wet palette and stick with it, as opposed to every other time that I've had one where I've used it for a week and then thrown it away. Oh, the molding process is different. Okay, so you can't do the old models in the new style, but from the way things have been going, I think you'll probably have a bunch of new models. You already have a bunch of new models out right now, but I'm sure you've got more in the pipeline. Let's... Pardon me for a second, I'm just mixing some paint. Cav HD model. Is that what you're calling the new run? The new line is HD? They are more defined. I'd love to see some of the older sculpts that are in the original Bones updated, like the Templar Halberd. I think is just cool as hell. What did I do with my bottle of P3? There it is. Excuse me, I'm losing my paints. I have got to put this P3 in a proper dropper bottle. This is starting to get ridiculous. And by starting to get ridiculous, I mean it was ridiculous the first time I did it. Well, welcome to the stream, everybody. Everybody who's joining us. Hope you all enjoy watching me keep moving my hands out of frame as I try to demonstrate what I'm doing, but it's clear to me that a lot of this is going to be learning how to paint on a stream. It's just a whole different skill than just how to paint. But, you know, we'll get better. We'll get better with each stream and hopefully provide you with content that you want to watch. What's that? First, actually, back with the Enforcer, Reaper, the Bones Black when I started. Yeah, I remember the Enforcer. I painted an Enforcer for the tournament you guys had down there, the War Master, or whatever it was called, that was organized by some of the players at CavCon. Yeah, maybe this is good. Maybe I need to go more subtle on my details and stop making an ass of myself. Well, I love the new stuff. The Bones Black is a great material, and honestly, one of the things I like most about Cav is that you guys keep your model prices as low as you do. Being able to pick up a model, an individual model, one that you specifically want for like $5, $6, that's crazy. That's absolutely nuts compared to most games where you're spending twice that for a single model, and you might have to buy it as part of a pack of crap that you don't want to have. For anyone just joining me, we are working on some Battletech figures today. None of them are official figures. I'd be like, check out Catalyst Game Labs if any of these are official figures, but these are all 3D prints that I have done recently. Anybody out there working on anything today? Anybody painting? Anybody texturing? Anybody designing? Anybody printing? What are you doing? Let me know. Am I doing something wrong? Tell me. Judge me. Bestow your judgment upon me. Say, Thunderhead, you asshole. Oh, out of frame again. We'll get there. And I am painting these up currently for an event that is being run next month at a local gaming convention known as Genghis Khan that I have never been to before. So that should be entertaining. I'm going to do those details later because they're super fine, and I kind of need to shove my model into my face to get it right. Oh. Welcome to the stream where I prove that I have terrible posture. And I really am trying to keep this in frame. Thank you for bearing with me while I develop that particular skill. One thing I'm definitely not used to is having any kind of an audience while I paint. I'm usually, in the nude, huddled up in the fetal position with an LED on my forehead, so... The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I like to think that I do something slightly more entertaining than pulling a fucking bell rope, whatever it's called. Is there a word for that? What is that? Being a bellman. Be going for just under another hour working today. If anybody has enjoyed watching me paint, if anybody enjoys watching me paint, make suggestions. Is there something in particular you want to see? Is there a model you want to see? Is there a technique you want to see? What is it? Let me know. I'm not saying I'll do it, but I'll take a look at it, certainly. Teaching basic techniques is something I can do because I'm only really good at basic techniques. Oh, out of frame again. Sorry about that. I'm glad. I am very much glad. If you're having fun, I am too. Oh, man. It's not until I get to this point that I realize if you look, that's a misprint. You see that? It's all wongled off to the side. I need to put another support there next time I print one of these. Resin printing is tricky. Yeah, I know. Whoopsies. This playlist has had a number of these instrumental Scandroid tracks in it, and I'm starting to think I like Scandroid instrumental better than with their very silly lyrics. Because this song is cool. I don't have to listen to someone talking about drones and clones and flying cities while I listen to it. Carpenter Brute. J35. Well, this is as good of an opportunity to talk about how I got this particular set of models where they are. So, this guy has undergone a black base coat. I will do Carpenter Brute. Carpenter Brute is fantastic. Carpenter Brute, Dance with the Dead, I also like. They're pretty great. So this guy was given a black base coat. Excuse me. And then zenithal highlighted in gray and white. And then given a white dry brush. And then given a very, very thin dark wash to kind of ease out the results of the white dry brush. And my dry brushing is in that stage is very rough. I don't even use like a nice paint. I use this U.S. Art Supply titanium white This stuff is like Play-Doh. But then I give it a dark wash, and then I went over it and I airbrushed Army Painter Military Shader. It's just an olive dark green. And that kind of leaves you right here with just some reasonable detail and some reasonable tonal variations that I found about one layer of highlights is enough to get it where I want to be. Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you. It's a technique I've been developing for a little while to just paint as sloppy and quick as I can while still yielding decent results. Decent results. That's all I'm after. I'm not trying to win any awards. I've got a couple of models coming up here that I'm going to paint on here where I'm going to pull out all the stops and I'm really, really going to try to do some advanced stuff. I've got a model I want to try to do a skin study on. I'm not very good at painting human skin, at shading human skin, so I would like to practice that and work on a few pieces with a lot of skin. And what was the other one? There was something else that I suck at. Oh, everything else. That was it. Oh no, that wasn't it. I've got a Horus Heresy Sanguinius back here in a box that a friend of mine gave to me to paint for him that I need to get to, but that one is going to be intense, let me tell you. I don't know if you've seen the Sanguinius model, but if you haven't, look it up. It's going to be something. It's like painting the Archangel Michael or something. Not as even as I'd like, but I'm going to deal with it. Again, these are event mechs. I'm really, if anything, I have a problem not letting myself off with a lot of details and techniques, but I'm really trying to just go with whatever happens and be sloppy for okay results. I'm going to do more of these streams. I've had a blast doing this today. It's just that so much of this today has been me wrestling with, okay, I got the model here and I'm painting and that's all well and good, and then I stop paying attention and I'll just drift this way until can't see anything, and that's not helpful. So that'll just come with practice, I'm sure. What the shit was I just doing? Throw myself off. Yeah, I'm probably going to try to get a camera set up looking at my actual airbrush station. And once I do that, I'll probably go through this process a couple of times, J35. Of just how to do like quick, simple zenithal highlights, pre-shaded base coats, color glazes. Real simple techniques that can yield some high-quality results if you do them right. You don't have to be a complete maniac to paint miniatures well, just a little bit of a maniac. If you direct your mania effectively, efficiently, that mania will pay off. I'm like, now I can't see anything but the misprinted piece. Cheap brushes off of Amazon and a couple of okay ones from Michaels. It makes a real big difference. Now, don't get me wrong, I use a lot of cheap brushes. I've got here in my repertoire. Let me see. This very expensive Artist's Loft acrylic round. I've had this thing for years and I still use it. It's a shitty synthetic brush. So, you know, don't kick any of these out or anything like that. But what you want to have is, and this is my little cadre of nice brushes. And they are all Winsor & Newton's Series 7. Some newer than others, as you can tell. Winsor & Newton Series 7 Kolinsky Sable brushes. There are other people out there who make sable brushes who people swear by. This is the brand that I got turned on to a long time ago, and I go back to them for continued quality. Pick up a size 1 round. Just one brush. Just get one Winsor & Newton Series 7 size 1 round. Not the miniature, just round. And get yourself a bottle of pink soap. That's what it's called. That's the brand name. And give it a try. I think it'll change your life. You only really need the one. And this brush I'm using is a poor example of it too, because this is a Winsor & Newton that I have abused for the last 6 months. It doesn't even hold its tip as well as it used to. I don't know. I abuse equipment, you know? I'm hard on it. Yeah, I have a dry climate here too, and honestly, I should use a wet palette more than I do. And who knows, maybe you'll get to experience the adventure of me learning how to do that on this very stream, as I learn to be a better person. Yeah, whatever, that's good enough. Yeah, I've gotten wet palettes before too, and I just don't, I couldn't tell you why, I don't remember to use them. After a while, I get annoyed with the maintenance on them. I don't know. They don't seem to last. I don't seem to last. One of the two. I'm talking about how good this brush is, and I'm over here just unloading way too much paint per stroke. I guarantee you that's because I'm bad at painting and not because the brush is bad. I promise you, you can do better with this brush than I'm doing. I'm just doing whatever. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? All my paint today is either too moist or too dry. Nowhere in between. This is the back of the arm though, so I'm just not gonna give a shit. Who's gonna pick up my Warhammer and be like, whoa, bro, you spilled some paint. Get this shit off my table. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh yeah. Oh, the dryness hurts a lot. When I do, when I'm like dotting eyes or lenses or cockpits, like I have to be quick with this thing. I have to be like, get the wet on my brush, go in, and I've got like 3 seconds to put that dot in there before it dries up. It's terrible, but there's really nothing for the sheer quality of the work you can get if you're careful. He says as he gets paint in all the wrong places. Yeah, I need practice. This is all work that I would normally do from, like, this position. But I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm changing. I'm mutating, I'm morphing. I'm mighty morphing into a Tyrannosaurus Rex robot. Oh god, come on. I don't want to clean you up any more than I have to. That's better. Oh, just awful. Oh well. Yes, I did in fact print this Warhammer myself. This is a, who did this? Somebody named Blar on Thingiverse, I want to say. And you can see here how I messed up the detail on the back. This is where a couple of my supports connected, and it's just a mess, so I'm kind of trying to draw some detail on there. Without drawing attention to the parts that I messed up, which is, of course, exactly what I'm going to end up doing. This miniature is not for you people with your close-in, hyper-focused view. It will look amazing at 3 to 5 feet without your glasses on. But yeah, this is, here we go. Blar did the original model, and I think Ion Raptor reposed it into this. Which is just, it's, you know, it's the classic Warhammer. The only one I think might look better than this is the new one from Kids Logic, those new ones that have been getting posted on Facebook and stuff a whole lot. As you can see, this the new weapon is what I added to it, which winds up being just a little bit smaller than a PPC. But these are meant to be large ER pulse lasers. I don't know, some crazy-ass clan tech. It's a clan invasion variant. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. If you like it, I'm going to post it up on Thingiverse just as soon as I can get these two painted. Because my hubris will not allow me to let other people paint this before I've finished at least one of them. What's next? What am I missing? There we go. Put some more scratches on these other parts, make them look a bit more intentional. Back into frame, there we go. We'll get there, we'll get there. I just can't... I'm all over the place quality-wise today. What are you gonna do, you know? I'm gonna try putting down some red on these parts that I've already got put together. Got base coated with red anyway. Oh god, why are the cockpit glass pieces so tiny? You know what? No. I'm gonna do this later off stream because I can't get close enough to really apply the color like I like while still being on the camera. We'll get there. We'll get there. This is the first painting stream. I guess if I can't do literally everything that I want to do, I can probably forgive myself. Alright, let's see. I did this guy a little bit earlier. I managed to get the cockpit glass on him halfway decent. Still needs some cleanup, but... let's see that archer. Lay down some basic colors on him. I could get that much done. Oh, cockpit glass. Okay, as far as painting Battletech mechs go, yes. Cockpit glass is difficult to do well. Simple lensing goes a long way, but even simple lensing becomes complicated by the fact that the places you have to paint it are so damn small. Some of the newer mechs have decent-sized cockpit glass, like the new Wolverine, which is probably among the easiest to do. The Shadowhawk's actually pretty tricky. These are some fairly small panels, but, you know, with some practice. I think the mistake that a lot of people make when they're sculpting minis for 3D printing is they don't realize how deep you have to make the details to be paintable. Like, Sylogy did this model. Hang on, I'll show you. Of course, there's a piece of hair stuck to it. Way to go, me, genius. But look at the cockpit on it. Like, what absolute fucking madman thought this was a good idea? Well, Sylogy. Sylogy's the one who thought it was a good idea. I didn't realize that the cockpit was done this way until I printed it, and now I want to scream. Yeah, the CGL awesome is terrible. I have a solution to that, though. Not really a solution, because I only did it on the one, but I am painting Rampart Company from the House Arano sourcebook that CGL released a while back. And the awesome in Rampart Company is supposed to have been claimed when a Battlemaster punched its cockpit in. So I printed out a periphery level repair. And I think this is going to look cool when I get some paint on it. I'm probably going to do this one on the stream. Yeah. I almost like this better than the way the standard awesome is. I need to mix up some coal black again with some flow aid and a little bit of... yeah, right? I think it looked... you know, I wasn't sure how that one was going to look. I didn't sketch it out or anything. I just was like, oh, let me just make this piece and print it. And it actually came out pretty good, I thought. I've been doing that with a lot of things, though. If I don't like the look of some small piece and it's not terribly difficult to replicate, I'll just print myself a replacement and cut off the old one. I've been doing it a lot for Rampart Company because they all wind up being customized. Like, the Battlemaster had nothing special about it, but I made a little... it's the arm of a commando that has been ripped off and held in his hand. Yeah. Yeah, leg braces on the Wolverine. Which, I'm pretty pleased with how these colors came out on this guy. He's, I think it came out better than I was actually expecting it. And then, this is the one... I haven't shown this one yet. You're the first to see it, which is obviously a huge deal. But I made this piece for a, I need to redo the missile pod because that's rough. But this is the Griffin 1S modification. With 2 medium lasers on the arm and then a large laser to replace the PPC. And yeah, I did I did Gecko with his 1E arms as well. I need to get back to this paint job, but I don't need him yet, so he's been stuck on the back burner. Yeah, this came out better than I was expecting it to. And it still needs a lot of work, but... You know that feeling when you're like, I don't know if this is going to work, but you put down the main colors and then it all just kind of comes together, and it really did on this one. I feel good about it. Once I got these highlights on the dark panels on the leg done, I was like, oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah. I'm that guy. Don't mind my glass clinking. I am mixing up some coal black with some Floaid and matte medium. Hopefully resulting in something nice and thin, kind of like a glaze. Which I can then slop over these missile pods. Part of these missile pods didn't print as clearly as I wanted them to, but most of them did, so I'm not going to complain. You working on anything today, J35? Painting anything, printing anything, painting something printed, printing something painted, what have you? What are you doing? Oh, just watching me paint, huh? Alright. Well, I appreciate you coming in to check it out. It's been pretty fun so far. I think I'm gonna start picking some paint projects that are specifically good for streaming, because if there's anything too fine, I struggle to do it in this streaming position. You got the box set primed and based, huh? Is that the Game of Armored Combat? It's a good box set. Probably the best box set I've seen Battletech release in damn near 20 years. What color are you going to paint him? What faction? Have you picked one out yet? I meant to do a game stream today. I even told myself I'd paint for a while, then I'd switch over to gaming, but that doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Maybe I'll do a game stream tomorrow. Just nothing but games. Debating Free Worlds League or that's not a debate. You can't debate Free Worlds League versus anything, because the answer is always Free Worlds League. That's just like, that's obvious. I mean, you're going to pick Steiner over Free Worlds League? What do you hate freedom? Come on. Iron frame? Yes, okay. Eventually, I'll be able to stop asking that question out loud. I guess I could stop asking it out loud right now, but, you know, what fun would that be? How did I do this on my other archer? Okay. Referring to my own mechs to determine what I decided certain parts were supposed to represent. Anybody who's been hanging out watching me paint today, I hope you've been having fun. If you haven't been having fun and you've been thinking to yourself, damn it, I'd be having fun if only he was painting XYZ instead of those fucking mechs. Tell me what XYZ is. Send me a message. Send me some hate mail. You're like, Thunderhead, you rat bastard. Why didn't you do this thing that I wanted you to do? And who knows, maybe I'll do it. As long as it's not like punching myself in the face repeatedly. Punch yourself in the face once, I mean, okay, I could probably get on board with that if there's money at the end of that road. I'm not proud. But multiple times, I'd be pushing it. Was that a mistake? That might have been a mistake. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave the hands green. I'm not going to paint the fingers metal. That's okay. We can undo things. Add a little extra shadow is all that's going to do. That's just fine. Oh, let me see. What am I missing? Elbow and armpit interiors. I need a touch-up. Yeah, that ought to do. And those are detailed. That'll look nice. Oh. I'm going to go for about another 20 minutes, and then that's going to be it for me. Get some more done on this archer beforehand. That's the cockpit. Okay, yeah, don't do that. The cockpit on the archer is always so weird. So you got Steiner and you got Free Worlds League. But what sub-factions? You thinking Lyran Guard? You thinking First Free Worlds Guard? You thinking... I don't know, what the hell else is there? You tell me. I'm a First Free Worlds Guard guy myself. But then I've always liked the color purple, and that's just a great excuse to use it, so... I take what I can get. Yeah, that works. Alright, what am I missing? Armpits, elbows, knees. Knees from the front don't really need any coloration. I feel like I want to put more color on his legs. I guess I could do the actual knee caps. Hope that doesn't end up looking weird. Well, I've committed to it now. I think that's all the parts that need a dark blue. Easy update, binging and bonging at me. Madness. Alright, what else we got? That hasn't set yet. That needs to wait. Here's an interesting example of why we always make sure that our resin models have vent holes and that we clean them properly. Because this is in my opinion, a pretty okay looking Comguard Archer that proceeded to crack open right there under the leg and leak a bunch of internal resin out because I did not drain or cure it properly. And now that's something that I have to deal with at some point. So, you know, a cautionary tale. After I went to all this effort. Because anything that's going to clean up that resin is also going to strip the paint off immediately, so that'll be an interesting fix. Yeah, there you go. I'll just say it's oil. I apologize, I've been so sniffly today, guys. Alright, what can I do quickly? Don't want to mess with my house Lao, guys. I'll do a few more highlights on this Warhammer. Oh, that's annoying. That guy just came off his pin. I'm glad it was on camera, me sticking that resin and glue covered pin into my mouth. Glad I'm not the only person who saw that. I might have been at risk of not being humiliated. We can't have that. I'm going to glue him to one of these bases just because I don't need to do any more airbrushing on him. That'll probably do. Like so. Yeah. All I'm doing here is cutting, just scoring some real light cross hatches with the intended purpose of creating a bit more tooth for my glue to hold on to, because I'm just going to glue this guy right down to his base. I'm going to rub my nose with an X-Acto blade in my hand. You may get to see me stab myself at some point. Won't that be fun? In fact, I mean, if I'm painting, you almost certainly will get to see me stab myself at some point. It just happens periodically. Where's my glue? There it is. This bottle of Gorilla Glue has been the worst. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's got a leak in the cap, I think. Alright, so that's going to be the interiors. Just an unreasonable amount of gel glue, no big deal. Line you up so that I'm happy with your positioning. And... success! Well, not quite success. He wasn't really balanced very well. There we go. Now he's on a base, and I'm going to let that dry. Could probably do the same for this archer, and I might as well do it now. While I'm thinking about it. How's everybody doing today? Anybody's just now joining me, or joining me towards the end of the stream, I'm going to be bringing this to an end in the next few minutes. 4 hours of me desperately trying to learn how to hold models in front of a camera. If that wasn't enough for you, there'll be more of it come Sunday, more than likely. Just pulling this pin. And throw that away. And another base. Yeah. That'll work nice. I really do dig these instrumental Scandroid tracks. I gotta add these to my regular rotation. Like, this song in particular is actually better without lyrics. All right. Healthy amount. Probably too much glue, but you know. Anything worth doing is worth overdoing. I am not a careful man. Alright. That's everybody glued to bases anyway. Oh, I need to dig into these urban mechs that I got going on. Maybe next stream? I thought I was going to do that catapult next stream, but I'm realizing that I need... Yeah, spoken like a Steiner. Oh, you're scouting? Have 4 assault mechs! I was thinking I might do this catapult on my next stream. But after doing this, I realized that I need more practice before I can do fine detail, so this might get done in between streams, and I might stick to some simpler while I ramp up. So... you are more likely to get, maybe I work on these Urbies. I'm doing a sort of police theme on them. And these are little urban bases that I designed and printed that they're pretty simple. You can run them off on an FDM printer like an Ender 3. So I think these guys will probably be what I work on Sunday. Just because I'm not really that concerned with them being all that well detailed. I can get away with a lot of dry brushing and some simple detailing. And then just pretend like the cockpit glass doesn't exist, because look at that crap. I'm not putting a brush in there. That's insane. Oh. Well, thanks for coming in today, everybody. It was the the first stream that I did was on Monday, and I was just playing The Surge, which was really a lot of fun. Vergatorung stopped in and educated me, because as it turns out, I'm actually worse at that game than I thought I was, which is it's difficult to comprehend, really. And yet he pointed out how I was. So he helped me get better. I'll probably stream some more of that here pretty soon. I don't know, this whole week has been fairly experimental, so, you know, I'll pump out a schedule for next week, and we'll play some games, we'll paint some models, it'll be a good time. If there's anything you want to see, any simple, ideally simple painting techniques that you want demonstrated that you're not totally sure about, if there are more complex painting techniques that you're curious about, I mean, toss that at me too. You could watch me struggle to figure out how to wet blend for a couple hours, it'd be a good time, and frankly, I need the practice. Ooh, let me check this out. That hasn't quite, the green stuff hasn't set on this base that I was making for the Wolverine yet. That'll take a little bit of time. Take this time to reorganize my paint slightly. Don't mind me just getting out of my own way here. If there are any models you're thinking about printing and painting out there too, let me know. I can print just about anything. Between my Ender 3 and my Elegoo Mars, I could pop off just about any figure you're curious about. Alright, well that's about what I got for today. So, thanks for stopping in, thanks for watching the stream, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. Have a great one.